What's up, you guys? Hope you guys are all doing well. Um, um, Tonight, guys, I just wanted to share with you something that's a little bit personal to me. And that relates to why I failed CTA, why I repeated CTA. So, for me, guys, I'm sharing this with you with the sole purpose of tapping into someone else's conscious. I'm hoping that by me sharing my story, I'll help you tell a better story of yourself, or of your journey rather, because I think at CTA level people go through similar situations. Um so for me, I'm really hoping that, by telling my story, I'll sort of awaken you to sort of tell a better story, guys. And I actually wish I had known this just before, on the early years of my first attempt to CTA. So I did CTA twice, in 2018, and I repeated in 2019. So I had one hell of a school journey. Yeah, I did school for many years, but then that's not why we're telling the story here. But then, yeah, guys, so for me, in December of 2018, I actually had to do, when I'm back home, I had to do a little bit of self introspection to say what went wrong, what did I do wrong, and how can I sort of change it going into the 2019 year. So for me, I came to conclusion that obviously there was like a number of reasons that led to me failing. Um, Stuff like your exam technique, studying too hard and not smart, not resting, all those sort of things. But for me, that's not the crux of the story. That's not the underlying issue here. So the main thing for me, I realized that um, fear was the reason that I actually failed the first time. You start this journey and then you look into it and you're like, here I am, I've come a long way, and I'm literally this close to actually achieving my all time goal of being a chartered accountant. And that sort of puts a lot of pressure on yourself, depending on the type of a person you are. There's some people who use the pressure to actually fuel themselves to do better, but then to some people it can be overwhelming. Well, for me, I was that person where I was overwhelmed. There was fear of a number of things, a lot of things actually. I had fear of failure. I had fear of where am I going to get funding, fear of what happens if I don't qualify to repeat. What am I going to do? The thought of doing my CTA via UNISA part-time and going back home and actually maybe applying for a job, that actually killed me. And that sort of clouded my judgment in my day-to-day studying. And I remember at some point in time it was actually evident that I couldn't apply myself on small things that I could, you would expect that someone at that level would have been able to apply himself. And I think that came through after the June assessment. So the first assessment that we wrote around April, I gave my all, and I went there with confidence, thinking I'm going to kill this thing. So I would study hard from day one, but then I failed, and then I put in even more hours for June. Then when I failed, it just sort of, it killed me inside. Um, I started having anxiety, panic attacks. I couldn't sleep and all of those things. But then for me, going on to repeat this thing, I realized that, I think I was the enemy of my own progress, guys, because I mean, as a student, there's only two possible outcomes, really. You can either pass or fail. And you sort of have an idea of the situations that are likely to follow you or that are likely to occur if both instances takes place. If you pass good, you go into your job, you do your articles. If you fail, what happens? I mean, I could have went back home. I could have started from home. That's not the ideal situation, obviously, but then I still would have been able to continue. So for me, I'm actually sharing this with the hope with that you sort of, take that pressure off your shoulders. If you are that one person that sort of stresses a lot about situations that are outside your control. So I'm here to say you don't have to go through it. I went through it. You do not have to go through it. Just tell yourself these people who have done this thing a number of times. If you fail, it's not the end of the world. You can still, even these firms out there where you can literally go start your articles without a CTA qualification. So you could do it while studying and work part-time. So it's not the end of the world. And one thing that I've realized is that the main reason I'm sharing this is actually that if you sort of take this pressure off your back or your shoulders, what happens is that you sort of free yourself. And when you have freed yourself, you can apply yourself. That's when you actually thrive. That's when you actually improve your chances of actually making it through. So I'm hoping that, you know, if you are that one person listening to this, that you're just going to tell yourself that, hey, I may pass, I may fail, but then one thing that I know that I'm going to do is actually to give 100% now. I'm going to give 100% now. And if my 100% is still not good enough, I'm going to come back and give my 110% again. I'm sort of hoping that actually this actually helps you in your journey. And I know in the end, if you persevere enough, you're definitely going to make it through. So push through. You're not the first one to do it. You're not the last one. If there's anything that I've always told myself, one motivation that I've always given myself was to say, no matter how stupid I am, one thing that's certain is that not everyone that has done this course and passed is better than me. I've told myself that, I may be not the smartest. I mean, even if you look at the rankings after each and every assessment, you see you're not the last one. You're probably sitting there, bottom half, or, towards middle, or, halfway through there, somewhere there in the middle. So you're not the worst. You definitely are capable, guys. So hoping that you take this and use it to fuel yourself and tell a better story. You've got this. All the best with your assessments in the year ahead.